Thank you to Blinkist for sponsoring this episode. Blinkist is an app that allows you to understand the most important thing from over 6,600 nonfiction books, summaries, and podcasts. With the very little idle time I have these days, Blinkist allows me to still get some reading in while I work. Recently, I've been listening to Ben Wilson's Metropolis, which is a book all about cities, mankind's greatest invention. I've also had a chance to refresh myself on a few books I've already read, like George Orwell's 1984. I have to say it's been pretty great to get through more than one book in a day. Blinkist is awesome because it boils down these titles into blinks, so you can read them or listen to them in as little as 15 minutes. One of the new features of the app is Blinkist Spaces, which allows you to create a space with friends or family where you can add, share, and recommend titles from the Blinkist library. A space can be for a group of people or a topic like productivity or mindfulness. All members of a shared space can access all titles in the space with or without a Blinkist premium subscription. Get 25% off Blinkist annual premium. Start your 7-day free trial by clicking the link in the description box. So thanks again to Blinkist for sponsoring this video. Now back to the show.
Hello everybody, hope you guys are all having a fantastic week. It's been a pretty good one over here, but the weather did not play the role I wanted it to this week. I was hoping we're having a few less wet days. And I was really hoping that the cold snap that we're currently having, isn't the weather that we are having. So because the paint stripper that I use on the front of the building and cold weather don't really mix, basically the active ingredient in that doesn't really like anything below 40. All of next week, or this coming week, will be around that at night. So it means we just get to do a little bit more work inside. And as is always the story, it doesn't matter really necessarily what I'm working on. Every little bit counts, every next step counts. As long as something's getting done in the house, it's a good week. So let me share my good week with y'all. let's have a look at it, shall we? The wall is starting to look quite a bit better. Now this is kind of what everything was looking like before we started. This is kind of what we're ending up with. One thing I didn't expect, or I didn't really think of when I first started this project, is how much brighter it would be. Because this mortar dries so much lighter, we get quite a bit more light bouncing off the walls, and it makes the space feel bigger, which is super nice. Another thing I wasn't really thinking of is that this was actually one of the reasons why the basement down here stayed pretty cold in the winter. There were some pretty big gaps in a lot of these areas, things much bigger than, even this little hole here. And when I would get up near them, you could feel the air coming through them. Which of course is never good and means I probably need to go check between the neighbor's house and mine, because this is what this wall is connected to. So if you were to go there, that would actually, my property line would end where the foundation ends right there. And that little alley belongs to my neighbor. And I do know from having looked at it briefly that my wall out there on that side is covered in cement, which is a big no-no. But we'll have to handle that when I can get permission to go and handle that. It's a pretty long wall, obviously. It's the whole distance of the entire house. They've done that too, and that's a really big task. Probably a potentially 2.5 week task for me. Luckily, the cement comes off pretty quickly. You can go ahead and rake out all of the old mortar, put some new stuff in, and you're pretty much ready to go. For those, though, who are wondering exactly what goes into this is the type of mortar I'm using. It's a product from US Heritage. It is a 3.5 or NHL 3.5 lime mixture, hydraulic lime mixture. It's actually pretty commonly used in Europe. In fact, NHL is a European, or actually a British, system to tell you how hard the lime is. 3.5 is dead middle. So I think it goes from 1 all the way to 5. This one's dead in the middle. It's actually pretty perfect for this age of house and a foundation like this. It's actually the most common to find, especially here in the US. The other types are actually pretty hard to find. Now last week you guys saw me actually putting what is type O on these walls, which is a historic mortar, but it also has Portland in it. I actually raked all of that back out because of one main factor. The fact that I found that US Heritage mortar, which previously I had to drive to Chicago to go and purchase, is actually available here locally now. I don't know if I had anything to do with that. I certainly complained about it. But maybe in some small way I brought a much more appropriate product here to the St. Louis market. Maybe, just maybe. Maybe it's hopeful thinking. Either way, I am ecstatic that is locally available and easily accessible. So from now on, when I'm doing tuck pointing work, it will be the lime stuff, because I much prefer it. And it's by far and away much more beautiful than that really gray, concrete-y looking cement crap. Type O is not terrible, but you can't deny that looks much, much better. Now I'm obviously going to have to carry this whole progress further down, obviously, because it gets much worse down here. You can can't even really tell where any stone ends or begins down here. The mortar's flaky, it's falling out, it's, you can just pick it away with your finger, which is never good, because, this stuff's pretty fresh still, and, much better. So with things like this room will stay much cleaner. With this, it is a consistent wreck. For a little bit of an example, here's this little shelf here. You can see all these little white bits of dust. Yeah, that's all just mortar falling off the walls, and it's like that all the time down here on walls that I haven't done anything to. So we're going to continue our way this coming week all the way down. And on the other side of the shelf, I actually did do a little bit of work. But before that, I know you guys have been missing Kim for quite a while. Well, Kim is currently out of town, and the reason she's not been around very much is because she's been working as much as she has. She works in urgent care now. And she works 12-hour days, 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes 5 days a week. So as much as you guys aren't really seeing her, I don't really see her very often either. So she's just been working a huge amount. But she's on vacation with her mom, and she saw something that pertained to St. Louis history and thought about you guys and decided to film a little segment. So let's go check that out real quick, and I'll be right back with you.
Hey everybody, I'm here in Birmingham, and just happened to be looking at things to do, and then I found out about this guy up here. So that is the Vulcan statue, and I will go more into that in just a sec. So I had no idea this was a thing. So this is the tallest iron statue in the world. It's 56 feet tall, and it was created in, well, I guess the early 1900s for the World's Fair. So it was Birmingham's entry into the World's Fair. Like I said, it's 56 feet tall. It was designed by Giuseppe Moretti, and it's really cool. So it looks out over the city of Birmingham. Let me flip y'all around. So here I am looking over Birmingham, and over there, beep, right there is Sloss Furnaces, which was an iron blast furnace. So big iron city down here. You know, pretty cool stuff. Let me show you the things I got Caleb. So I got him this shirt that is the original blueprint by Giuseppe Moretti for the statue, and there's a back too. And here's the back of the shirt. It's the back of the blueprint. And here's another view of the Vulcan. Let me zoom in for y'all. Super neat. You can go up there via elevator that's alongside of this, but I'm scared of heights, and this is already pretty tall for me, so I'm good. But see, there's a lot of radio towers up here, or cell towers. I'm not sure. I'm guessing cell towers now that I think about it. Yeah, they have a little museum over there as well at the top. But yeah, super cool. I was really excited to see that that's here. So there is a big tie-in to St. Louis here in Birmingham. I hope y'all enjoyed the little tidbit about the Vulcan. Bye.
Actually, before we move, I'll actually show you guys a better idea what's going on over there. I'm gonna go ahead and move that shelf over there. But before we do that, this mortar requires actually that for the first 3 days that it's on here, you need to wet it down with water once a day. Everything but this section was done 3 days ago, so I need to go ahead and wet it one more time, and I'll have to hit that one later. But for right now, let's go ahead and get some water on this wall. Say hello to Sandy, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so that's where we were, and this over this way is what I still have to do. And that includes going all the way up the stairwell. Not that part right there. That's where the bricks start, and that's actually regular plaster. This, not plaster. This is cement that you saw me ripping off of this area. Again, I'm not sure why they did this. Very clearly they stopped right here, so maybe something else was going on down here versus this way. And actually this way, and in the kitchen over here, they did this whole cement, I don't know, plaster, I suppose, over the top of everything. And it's pretty brittle. It's been flaking off. The areas are not great. It did make this wall percent a lot flatter, but that's also not what I'm looking for down here. I really do like the way these stones look. I mean, I think it does give a very, I don't know, a fun feel down here. That being said, if you did want to, plaster something like this, I suppose you could. I don't know how plaster does on walls that are below grade. The other thing you do if you wanted to not have the color of the stone is you could either lime wash or mineral paint this, and it would be just fine. Obviously, this type of paint, or whatever this stuff is, it's not good. It doesn't work very obviously, and now it is just a flaky mess that you can pretty easily just pick off. So quite a bit of that to do. Little bit of cement left here on this corner, which I've wondered for a long time why this kind of juts out here. Actually turns out it doesn't. They've actually cut in for the stairs here. So actually directly below the stairs, a little lip that catches the stairs. And that's what's going on there. Something you might notice for all of this as well is the fact that the lighting down here is currently terrible and now it is dark over there. That's because this is all being done with a work light. I don't actually have any lights down in this area or in the shop in general. Call it moving magic if you will, or whatever, but I've literally just got 2 work lights screwed up here, and that's what's providing all the light down here in this area. So for next week, even though I am going to try to get outside and get a few things done, I definitely had to take out a few trees in the back, one against the garage and one against the fence. I still think the main thing next week though will probably be getting some power down here and getting this wall done. That gives me some good thing. You know, it's hard to use machinery when you have to consistently move your light with you, which is kind of annoying. And it'd be nice to be able to come down here and turn on a switch. And along with that, I want to get some lights up here in this staircase. It's always pretty dark, and now that we have to come down here and shower, occasionally it's not the most fun to come down this staircase. Also, other than this little handrail here, we don't really have a handrail on this. So getting a handrail on this would be kind of nice. And lastly on this, I do have 2 pretty bad stair treads. One being this one here, which is missing this lip, and the one directly above it, which is cracked in half. It has quite a bit of movement on the front piece, as you can see. The back's pretty stable, but not that piece. So I think 2 new stair treads, and this will all be looking pretty good. But even just with that cement removed down there, it's already looking so much nicer. Then of course, after all of that, I will move this stuff to the other fall wall. I got this wall to do, which is quite a bit smaller than all the other ones. Also, a quick little note. The reason I believe there are bricks here is I believe this window itself was actually the original coal chute. And I think this was probably sloped. If I took those bricks out, I bet it's sloped. So I bet that's where the coal came into the house originally. But also, they've got this little water line going here that feeds to the outside. Currently, I have to prop open a window and run my hose out from my source outside and then take it to the lift or whatever. It'd be really nice this summer if I had water that just went straight outside. So even if I could just get this little area right here pointed around this brick, get a copper line down that's a copper stub out on some PEX up here in the ceiling that shoots over, and have a nice tap out there, that would be extremely helpful and super beneficial, especially when it comes time to do a lot of the work on the front of the house. I already even got a little tap for it. My aunt and uncle Katie and Jason, thank you by the way, gave me this cute little quail tap. And I think that'd be actually perfect out there. It's super cute. And while I don't think it's necessarily Victorian, this is something to me that a Victorian would absolutely do this. They went over the top with silly stuff. And this is the perfect over the top little accessory. And I think it'll be a cute little tap out there. What do you guys think? So it's gonna be it for this week, guys. There's no such thing as bad progress. The progress this week has been great. It's always great to get more of this house back together, breathing, stable, which is always a good thing, and breathing and feeling better. And of course, as I've been saying these last few weeks, this is all prep to get tools working that get the pretty stuff done. And we're getting closer little by little every day. In fact, this is what I picked up this week. A phase converter, so I can go ahead and run a lot of these 3-phase motors that I have down here. Which means these 2 tools right here are mere probably 2 weeks away from being functional. Of course, again, extending the range of what I can accomplish here, which is, it's a good thing, really. So as always, guys, thank you guys for sticking with me. Watching this old girl come back together little by little. Getting in all the nooks and crannies down here, figuring out using the right products, figuring out what I have to do, trying to figure out what the right products are, and making sure again that this girl has another 100 years in front of her, bare minimum. So it's exciting stuff. Spring is definitely on the way. We're getting close, and that means getting back to the pretty stuff I know you guys all want to see. And personally, I really want to see. So again, we're getting back to that. Winter is almost over. Its last gaps are just these last few weeks. And I know at least by the fall, the front of the house will be unrecognizable from what it looks like now. And I can't wait to share that with you all. But until then, I'll see you guys all next week. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.